Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'd like to thank you all for tuning into the show. As always, I got my crew with me, Darnell and Tyler. I'm Trey, and we are coming your way with the 94th edition of the Don't Kill the Messengers podcast. Got a lot that we got to cover on the show today, but to start the show off, we're going to talk about UFC 219. That's going to be coming up on the 30th. So we're going to be doing this a week in advance because we won't have a show next week, but let's get right into UFC 219, man. Just Darnell, just overall, we're going to just cover two fights, but man, just what do you think about the whole card?
Not bad. I do wonder how well it'll do, at the gate and everything. I guess it's just still a mentality that goes along with the sport. It's hard when you have a fight between two ladies headlining the card, so that always makes you wonder how Ronda Rousey broke a little bit of a mold with that because of all the female with her, but Cyborg and Holly Holm don't have that kind of notoriety to them.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting fight. I'm not sure but it's definitely something that, especially for the hardcore fans, is something to put a card. And then, you got could be Nurmagomedov on it, trying to see if he has gotten his head straight. And then there's some good fights down the card too. Like I really like that Carlos Condit Neil Magny fight as well.
Yeah, those two are going to be starting this show off. So yeah, it started off with a firework, man. That should be a good fight just to start the UFC event off. So it's looking like a good one. Just like you said, man, between Chris Cyborg and Holly Holm. It's going to be interesting to see just how the pay is going to be out for this pay-per-view. People will be willing to put their money up because obviously those two are very talented, but when it comes to the women, you're right, man. It was Ronda Rousey. She was huge in bringing people out to go see her fight for the main event. So these two, Holly Holm, she defeated Ronda Rousey. Chris Cyborg, she's just out there just dominating right now. So two talented ladies, but yeah, they're not bringing in the draw that Rousey was bringing in. So just going to be interesting to see, man. But overall, it should be a good pay-per-view for the people to go check out. Now, the first fight that we're about to get right into is Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Edson Barbosa. Just what are your thoughts on this fight, man?
On paper, it's a good fight. If all things are how they should go, I think most people are favoring Khabib here. Has he got himself straight to where he can make weight, not put himself in danger?
Yeah.
And live up to a contract for a signed fight. Because, a lot of people think he's one of the more talented fighters in this division. He should be at the top of the division. He should have a belt. He's been his own worst enemy with not being able to make weight. And I think even though he's a foreign-born fighter, I think he could be he's not afraid to get out there and talk and put himself out there. But it just comes down to did he get his training down, and did he start his weight cut early enough to where them pounds that it's just water weight, not that he's trying to burn 15, 20 pounds of weight like he has done before.
Yeah. Just with that, man, you basically touched on Khabib with him making weight, man. The guy's a beast. That whole just weight cutting problem with him, that's just going to be the key thing for him. But just overall, just looking at this fight, man, I think this is going to be a fun fight to watch. Khabib, that guy's a bulldog, man. He's going to go in there. He's going to go after you. But one thing I like about Edson Barbosa is he reminds me of my man Aldo back in the day, man, with those leg kicks. He will kick the hell out of you. So I want to see how he can go in there and utilize those leg kicks and see if he could put some work in on Nurmagomedov in order to slow him down and potentially win this fight. So those leg kicks, man, if he can go in there and utilize them, chop Khabib down and slow him down throughout the fight and put in some other work, I think that would be very helpful. But if Khabib can go in there, man, take him down and just do his thing, this is just a good fight, man. It's either way, man. These guys are. You talk about styles making fights. These two definitely got some styles that could go in there and just have them get a win. But it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, for sure. They didn't give Nurmagomedov a cupcake at all coming back in after his layoff. Edson's game. He is a very good all around fighter. Like you said, he's dangerous, standing good jiu-jitsu. This will see if this is the Khabib we all know, or if it's time to move up. Yeah, I think for him to come back.
Who you got winning, man?
I mean, I'm going to go with who I see as the better fighter. I'm going to go with Nurmagomedov here.
Yeah, probably
like a second or third round stoppage.
Okay. So you're feeling a stoppage. This is going to be a good fight, man. I like Khabib. I like Barboza too. Both of these guys, I just love watching those guys fight. The problem too, man, is Khabib. He's had a little layoff too for a minute, so he's going to be pretty rusty. But I think he is the better fighter, man. But I think Barboza's going to have it this fight, man. Just with the whole issue with Khabib cutting weight and just him having that little layoff, I think that could get to him. So he's the better fighter. If you're just looking at on paper, Khabib should have it, but I think I'm going to get an edge to Barboza in this one. So
yeah, see, no issue. If he has a rough weight cut and is still having these issues, Mustang probably won't be there. And, that could spell bad news. So I definitely think that's a possibility. I'm gonna look at it if he did what he's supposed to. Like.
Yeah. All right, up next, we're about to go right into the main event. Chris Cyborg is going to be getting on with Holly Holm. Just what are your thoughts on these two squaring off, man?
It's an interesting fight. Like I said, Holly will probably be one of the more game opponents that Cyborg. I don't think there's going to be that fear factor, honestly.
Yeah.
Just because Holly has fought all kinds of fights, and it might be a little difficult for Cyborg to solve her because Holly's good at fighting at range, and she's good at foot. She's good with strikes retreating. I think that's partially how she was able to deal with Rousey so easy. But I mean, as far as striking goes, this is a whole different level. Cyborg is beyond Rousey's stand up, but Holmes countering and ability to strike while kind of fading back can help her some, make her could possibly push this fight rounds, possibly a decision. But we'll see if she can take the storm that is Cyborg, because Cyborg's going to keep coming forward here.
Yeah, one thing I will say is this, man. Obviously, I got Cyborg winning. That's my girl. But the key thing with this fight is, Holly Holm, Cyborg's a girl. She's going to go in there. She's going to stand up and start swinging. But Cyborg better not underestimate Holly Holm at all, because that girl got experience in boxing. She know how to work those hands too. So I just think the key thing with Holly Holm is, not to go up in there and just trade shots with her back and forth, but kind of just stick and move a little bit. Just go up in there, work some jabs in on her, and just punch her and make sure she's getting out the way from those heavy blows that Cyborg is going to try to deliver on her. So just a stand-up, man, game. This is just going to be a beautiful chess match because you got a guy who's going to go up in there, has power like crazy with Cyborg, and then Holly Holm, just great stand-up, great boxing skills. She can go up in there and work some great footwork, try to get in and out. So this is going to be interesting to see, but I think my girl Cyborg is going to go up in there and pull it off with a win. So that girl
Yeah.
those blows, she can go up in there and work those blows on her, man. She's going to go down. That girl just has insane power. So.
Yeah, I agree. If I had to go put my money down on a fight, I'm here. But I do think there is a small possibility that I guess lightning strikes twice for Holly Holm.
Yeah,
she's a very good counter fighter, and she's fighting somebody that's aggressive. Cyborg is aggressive. Rousey was aggressive, and that's when she is at her most dangerous. If it's seeing openings because the fighter covering up because they're going after it, that's when Holly Holm can make something happen.
Yeah.
I guess it comes down to a game plan. Cyborg is going to be Cyborg, and that, but she does need to be aware.
Yeah, definitely agree. And that basically covers it for UFC 219. Just going to get and talk about last week's fight between RDA and Lawler. Just what were your thoughts on that fight, man?
I mean, surprising, I guess, would be, I know RDA's been on a tear since going up to welterweight. I did not expect him to just blitz Robbie Lawler like that for 5 rounds.
Yeah.
He basically outdid Lawler in every way, and it seemed like he fell every round.
Yeah.
He came out in the opening round basically looking like he was prime Jose Aldo, just lighting up Lawler's leg, which he watched some film because way to Lawler's power and go after that leg to where he can't use it. He lost some fights in the Strikeforce days by getting his leg torn up, and then second round he showcased his hands. Third round he put him on the ground.
Yeah.
Out wrestled him. It was just crazy watching that. And, just as the fight went on, Lawler just didn't have anything left. He had to be ginger on his leg. Couldn't really do much there. And, just all around outclassed. This tip you have to RDA. That night, he was a top 5 fighter on the planet.
Yeah. I was just absolutely amazed at that, man. You basically took the words out of my mouth. But Robbie Lawler's a beast, man. You do not want to sleep on that guy. And he just made RDA just came in there and just walked through him like it was nothing, man. I mean, yeah, you said just utilize all his abilities on him in order to get that win, man. This is a prime example, dude. If you would have looked at that fight with him and Eddie Alvarez, you could have thought he was done, man. But it just goes to show that, a quick change in your weight class and whatnot, that can change stuff up. So he's rebounding, man. He's looking like the beast that he was when he had the championship belt. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to come down between him and his other opponents in the future. You think he get a title shot soon, or what do you think about that?
If owning the belt, this is who should have the next shot. I think he clearly showcased that now. He's earned it. He the former champion.
Yeah.
And made him look like he wasn't even in his class. So yeah, RDA has earned a shot. And to earlier talking about Nurmagomedov, this is an example in this day and age. There's probably should just start trying to fight at a more comfortable weight because he hasn't looked this good since he was the weight champion.
Yeah.
And it's probably because his body feels a ton better because he's not killing himself the day before a fight trying to cut that extra 10 dehydrating himself.
Yeah. I just don't get that, man, with these trainers and these fighters, dude, why they do that. Like, they say it's an advantage, but I don't see how it's an advantage to do that, man, if you're basically, just killing yourself weeks before the fight, and then you just think that somehow drinking a lot of fluids, that's going to rejuvenate you like that, man. Like that's what you're doing is very dangerous, man. Like you could die doing that stuff. And for those guys to just go out there, man, and really just think that that's somehow an advantage, I just don't see that at all, man. I think that's just absolutely crazy to be doing that, to be cutting weight like that. But you know,
yeah, I mean, no matter what, it's dangerous. But as far as it may be an advantage for you if you're between the ages of 18 and like 23, 24, where your body is still young and can rejuvenate itself quicker. But once you to that 30 or so, it's just time to go up in weight.
Yeah.
Especially just it's your natural there just as you get older. And I mean, these guys are elite athletes, but water is necessary for you. If you're getting yourself where you're pretty much close to kidney failure and you can barely walk, like this, it's not worth it. If you're not good enough to beat people you probably shouldn't be doing it if you have to weigh 15 pounds more than the person you're fighting.
Yeah. So I definitely agree, man. Just to close this out, there was talks today with Dana White trying to get Floyd Mayweather to make his debut in the UFC. Just what are your thoughts on that, man? You think it's BS? You think Floyd's gonna be in to do it, pull a James Toney, or what? Like how you feeling, man?
Eat crow. As far as versus Conor in a boxing ring, I didn't think that was possible. If Floyd gets in the UFC ring, I think he saw James Toney. I don't. Floyd is a lot of things, but stupid is not one of them.
Yeah.
I think he knows. If he were to step in an octagon where you can wrestle, you can throw elbows, you can throw kicks, ass whooped.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is a possibility. No. And I think that's why he quickly said, I mean, it's something I could do, but I'm not doing it. Floyd is not dumb. Yeah. We know he's not dumb by how he picked his opponents through his career.
Yeah.
Floyd, business-wise, and I think he knows this would be good business for him unless they could somehow pay him more than he made in that McGregor fight, which I don't know if the UFC's pockets are big enough for that to give him part of it. But I don't think Floyd wants to lose, and I think he knows the probabilities of him losing. He goes into an MMA fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree, man. I think he would definitely be biting off a little bit more than he can chew if he was to debut into the UFC. The only way I could see this happening is if somehow he has like a clause in the contract where he would possibly have his opponent only do stand-up where they can't kick, they'd just be punches thrown or something like that to kind of sneak it up in there to make it seem like it was a true mixed martial arts fight. But that's the only way I could see it happen. And if Floyd gets in the octagon where people can kick, clinch, wrestle, do ground and pound, that's not going to be good for his career, man. So I definitely agree. Dana's probably just going out there, just throwing stuff out there, man, just to get more attention to his brand in the UFC. But, I just don't see that happening. Maybe in your dreams, man. But, yeah, real life, I don't see Floyd going into the octagon.
There's no upside in it for Floyd. I mean, he's an older boxer. I know James. Floyd's not a knockout fighter like James Toney was.
Yeah.
That was a legit fear of him stepping in the ring with Couture, where if he threw the right punch, not just knock, like break his jaw off of one punch. That's not Floyd. Floyd already has to pick because he has goes already.
Yeah.
And he's never been that type of puncher.
Yeah.
Out of that working in his face. Like you said, just his name in the media talking about that for a day, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right, now we're about to get ready to switch it up. It's a must that we talk about the man with the master plan, and that is Lavar Ball. What do y'all think about him putting his kids overseas to play basketball, to potentially go pro and to go to the Lakers?
You want to jump in, Ty? We haven't heard.
Yeah, if this plan's even going to work, we already see a small number of European players come over, make it. I mean, you could think of a couple off the top of your head just because of recent years, but I can't say that we've seen an American take the approach of going overseas and then coming back and then really being able to kill it in the NBA. The only example I can think of off the top of my head is Brandon Jennings, and then I think his name was Terrence Ferguson. I believe he was drafted this past year and took the same route. He may have played Australia, but
didn't Moutier use that way too?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, wasn't. Yeah, he may have, but yeah, it's still very small. The majority of these guys go 1 year and then go pro. So it's definitely a gamble. Any other way to phrase it, a gamble that he's trying to take. A very interesting one, considering he's already said that LiAngelo's not good enough. Everybody else is kind of following along that same pattern, and they don't really believe that LiAngelo's good enough. I guess this is a chance for him to go pro, so he's taking it, and I think it's good publicity. Team in the Latvian league.
Yeah, as far as Lavar goes, it's basically this was his only out right now after basically pulling both of his kids out of school. LiAngelo out of UCLA and LaMelo out of it was pretty much all he was going to do, because it's the only way that he could get both of them playing and doing was to go overseas and try to do this. Just to piggyback a little bit off of what Ty said, LiAngelo has not been seen as an NBA prospect. He's like a 3-star basketball recruit. Like, it was even questionable if he could start on UCLA's team. Mm-hmm. So I don't think this was a big deal as far as the team goes with Lavar pulling him off. And then LaMelo, but right now he's still 16. He's like 6'5", 150. So still time to try to figure out what is he going to be. Because right now he's still seen as a one-dimensional type player. As far as this move goes, I mean, like I said, it's his only shot. They get to make some money, because already it was a violation for LaMelo, because he has a signature shoe now, will be brand. Yeah. So off the fact of him making money off of a sneaker, he probably wasn't going to be able to go to UCLA either. Yeah. Reporting on this earlier, and for the team over in Latvia, this is basically a win for them. They signed the kids basically 1 month type deal to see if they if they can play, for one, and two, does it bring some eyeballs and then maybe some ticket sales so they can bump things up a little bit. We'll see how that goes, and multiple league for the team to make a jump up, or if they do show that they can do anything, maybe give some hope and give LaVar some more things he can talk about. But this is something with a watching it from afar just to see what happened. Super in tune to this to see how these two kids do. Because, like I said, one of them's 16, and I don't know what he'll turn into in the other one. And from everything I've read and heard, he's really not an NBA player. So it's something to keep them in the news, which, I mean, is basically Lavar Ball's MO right now. No press is bad press, basically. He seems to live out of that, and that's what this is.
Yeah. Yeah, I got no problem with it. Just with kind of what you guys were talking about, in terms of the shoe deal for LaMelo and just LiAngelo not turning out to be good. The only thing that I hope with this whole situation is I hope that LaVar is not trying to live out his dreams through his kids. So I hope this is something truly that his kids want to do and the path that they want to take. But if this is the path that they want to take, and they honestly feel as if this is the best thing to do for their career, just in terms of what's everything going on with them right now, in terms of what happened in China, the whole UCLA thing, like I said, the shoe deal. If that's the best route that they have to take, I'm absolutely fine with that. I wish them the absolute best. But yeah, I just hope that LaVar isn't trying to live out his dreams through his kids and whatnot. So, but yeah, I wish them the best, man. I hope this turns out good for them. Hopefully we can see some of their games overseas, see how they play. But yeah.
I honestly don't think he's trying to live out dreams or anything, because, I mean, he's basically accomplished that with Lonzo.
Yeah, true.
I just think he's basically kind of a master marketer, and he's going to move in, honestly. If he can accomplish, making this clothing brand a mainstay to where he can cash out on that yearly, I think he's accomplished what he wanted to. He lets out little nuggets of truth. He was one of the ones that said that that LiAngelo probably was going to be the one that NBA, and I think the jury is still out on LaMelo as far as will he grow into more of an NBA body.
Yeah,
but he
got still going through puberty, man. 16,
exactly. which I mean, he may do better. I'm not saying he's going to be terrible. Anything. I'm not on a child, but I think LaVar knows what he has in his 3 children marketing potential, and he's going to.
All right. Now, how do you guys feel about this whole Lavar Ball issue with him starting up the this basketball league for guys coming out of high school?
Yeah, just what I'm hearing is, I believe that it's going to be called the Junior Basketball League. Basically, just for the top rated players. I don't even want to know if we should be calling them recruits anymore, if be thrown around, but basically for the top rated high school players league, where they actually do get paid. So it's basically just the alternative to college basketball.
So they would pretty much be professional then, you could say?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Well, technically, anything you're deemed ineligible by the NCAA.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So basic, as sad as it is to say, like, you could take class and you're kind of small stuff like that probably just isn't monitored, so you can get away with it. But like I was texting you guys earlier today when I saw that, and I was kind of like, the idea works. I don't know if there'd be enough to actually form a league, if there'd be enough willing to take the risk. Granted, I think there'd be a lot of hacks willing to take the risk. But I think if you're a little more serious on getting to the NBA, NCAA basketball is a more serious option for you than this would be. But I think the idea itself works. Like I told you guys, I really feel like if one thing's going to be beaten by the monopoly that is college athletics, it's going to be the basketball. One that kind of has the biggest loophole. As of now, you only have to be there 1 year, so that's 1 semester of classes. Then you can do whatever you want as a student. So I really think with a good enough plan, and I'm not saying this is or isn't, but with a good enough plan, I really think you could kind of beat it. Unlike football, being there 3 years is kind of your only gateway to the NFL. So here, I think in theory, it's a good alternative. I don't know if it'll work or not, but I do definitely think that there is potential for NCAA basketball to be equaled, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Lavar's ideas that I actually love, because in theory, this would pretty much whole idea of student athletes, which I mean I've long thought is BS.
Yeah.
NCAA football and basketball making billions of dollars off these kids' backs, and they still try to throw it out like a scholarship really is for all that they're the institutions. It's just I'm skeptical that actually pull this off. But if somebody was actually able to make a semi-pro style league for some of these kids to go to, these 100 type where they could just go be in a league, make a $100,000 or whatever for that year in between, learn how to be adults still, which is the quote college experience. They try to start to learn how to handle some of these expenses before they get millions thrown at them. I do love the idea, and plus, were to come into fruition, and I do think kids would jump at something like this versus, hey, go to a school where you're forced to take classes that you may or may not want to take because your coach may be pushing you towards taking this major just so you stay for this semester that we want you to stay here if you're a one and done type kid versus, hey, as the story goes, you send your kid to college to learn a craft or do what to make money as an adult. We have an avenue for you to make money.
Yeah.
And then it's the same process. You'll learn if you're good enough to go to the next level. If you are, good for you. If you're not, hey, we'll at least put some cash in your pocket and put you on TV so you got your name out there. You can use that money to the old-fashioned way and go back. So, I mean, I think there's good in it both ways. In the end, we'll force the NCAA to stop trying to say that there's no way they could pay the kids to do anything, and it will start being shared with the students that are making that money.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the whole idea from Lavar, man, starting this league up. I think it'll be fun just to watch and to see it happen. I think he's got a lot of work ahead of him to get this thing done, just with whole, marketing, getting all the guys, paired for it, and, finding the place to get the games and whatnot. But it seems fun. Like I said, he definitely has his work cut out ahead for him, but it would just be fun to watch, man. Just have these kids get this experience, more basketball experience, competing against other guys coming out of high school, and just, like I said, learning how to be adults, learn how to save their money, the little money that they're getting and whatnot. So it'll just be a good experience for the kids. The NCAA and whatnot, they're going to try to find a way to stop this from happening and everything like that, because they'll be losing a good amount of money if the kids were to decide to take the LeVar Ball route. But this will be fun, man. I think those guys deserve to get paid anyway. So just wish them the best with it, man.
And I think the thing that, LeVar would have going for him here is he won't have to convince the kids. The ability to basically skip out on school and, get experience of basketball, money in the pocket, like both you said, that I think will be like, I'm in. Like I said, it would be interesting if serious recruits take this idea seriously as well, or if they think, I haven't actually screwed up, let's just go to college.
Yeah.
Because, to a point, you'd have to think that BA recruits will look at this, if it happens, will create a league and just kind of see it as a joke until players decide to take that route. I think it's just going to be an idea of who he can get to play. Will he get enough kids to play to where the talent and the competition's really good that really showcases these athletes? I mean, it would be interesting to see how he uses this LaMelo Liangelo move to Europe as kind of a gateway for, hey, we're going to bring Zoe over and play, all over the world. Take them into Europe and be like, all right, you guys are going to be playing some Europe level talent, and we'll see if you shape up or not. So abilities here will agree to an extent this could work. But I think it's just we're going to have to see it.
Yeah.
Going to be it. We'll just have to see it.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Any other comments on LeVar Ball or Big Baller brand, or what? Move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
All right. All right. Now we're just about to get right into some more NCAA basketball. Guys, just what are your thoughts on this season so far?
Always a good time. Some things we expect, some things we don't, some things we can expect, over the top for the rankings, your Villanovas, Michigan States, North Carolinas, your Dukes. They're always hanging around early in the season. So, not a whole lot unexpected there. We're seeing some recruits play well and some returning players play well too. Miles Bridges off to a little bit of a slow start, which is a bit surprising to me. I understand, sometimes you put some press, don't perform very well, but I think he'll pick it up. Marvin Bagley III's playing well, Grayson Allen's playing well, and so on. But I think, if there is thus far into the season, I think it would be for Oklahoma Trae. Now, the other night, I think he had something like 21 points and 22 assists, tied the Division I record.
That's just insane.
The guys turning heads. He's creating a buzz, turning into an early season Player of the Year finalist, or early, not a finalist. But yeah, I mean, he would kind of be a surprise for me. Didn't know a lot about him coming in. I've heard his name, but didn't really have him on my radar. But yeah, it's a good season so far. We've had a few upsets already, and there'll be plenty more to come. So, I love it, and it's a good season so far.
Yeah, I won't dig too much into it. Ty covered a lot, but I mean, it's been a good early season. Conference play where I think that's where things will start to get more interesting. But I think where we see who the really good teams are, who everybody's going to be watching later into the season. I'm surprised. This is like, I mean, personally coming from me, how bad the Big Ten seems to be overall. I think that was a little bit shocking. So you get a lot of teams in the tournament, so there'll have to be some picking up there from the conference I mainly watch, because I think people in two teams in the top 25, Purdue and State, I believe.
I believe. So.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the biggest surprise to me. But you look through the top 10, a lot of familiar faces: Villanova's, your States, your Duke, your UNC, Kentucky. So nothing too shocking to me. Some players like Ty had mentioned, but a good early start.
Now, you can just guys. We'll just go right into your teams. You can start with you, Darnell, with your Michigan State squad. Just how y'all feeling on y'all squad so far this year? Pretty sure you're happy.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't complain too much. Only lost one game, and they lost that one game based on Grayson Allen turning into a combination of Steph Curry and JJ Redick. So I'm going to complain too much about that. They lock down more defensively, which they've been super impressive in. I guess I would team with a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Most people have complained when playing them just how they can just send waves and waves of set them, and especially on the big end with the forwards and centers. I mean, I don't want to just be a slappy and keep singing praises, but yeah, I'm totally happy with them. I do want Bridges to take control a little bit more and step up, but I mean, this is a fun team to watch. It's more than advertised. He's a one-man block party, and the returning sophomores from last year, Bridges has been good, not quite what we want. He started stepping up lately. Better. Cassius Winston is marksman from the three-point area, and Ward is continuing to do what he does, and Vince is just nasty. So this is a team where, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't lose again until February.
When they're claiming,
right? No.
I don't see that one going too well for Michigan this year. But I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. You got anything to add to Michigan? Well, go ahead. Well, what were you about to say, Darnell?
No, I'm saying I'm done gloating on my team.
Oh, okay.
No, I'll just touch on State real fast. They're Michigan State. Jaren Jackson looks really good. Langford is better. And that team's Nick Ward for sure. Still flies way under the radar and doesn't get any of the doesn't get a lot of national recognition. But he's just one of those slow race kind of guys. Plays hard. All of his points. It isn't flashy, isn't a highlight reel, but gets it done night in and night out. It's just super impressive. Michigan sitting at 10-3. Not too upset about that. Lost 2 games they should have won. They should have beat LSU in Maui, and they should have beat Ohio State, I believe. At Ohio State, lost by 9, but were
we're up close to 20. Slip away. Can't do that. Wins as of late, though. They beat UCLA at home in overtime, beat Texas on the road. I expect both of those teams to be tournament teams. So, whenever you can pick up wins against teams from Power 5 conferences that look like they're shaping up to be tournament teams, that's a good win. So, I'm not too upset with Michigan. One player I kind of mentioned before the start of the season was Charles Matthews. He's looking pretty good in a lot of ways. He doesn't rely on the three like a lot of the other guys do on the team. So, bridging Mo Wagner's, turning into player as well. Gotten a little more physical in the off season, so it's exciting to see players develop, especially when you kind of watch them through 3 or 4 years of playing. You get to see them kind of grow before your eyes and to do. But like Darnell said, we're starting to reach conference play. We're a few games away. With the Big Ten being down this year, I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan fares well in the Big Ten. I'm not saying they're going to win the conference or anything like that, but I think they could be a top 5 team in the conference. I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy with them making the tournament, and then anything can happen from there. So right now, I think they need to play a little bit better defense. I feel like they kind of give up a lot of offensive rebounds. We don't get a lot of second chance points, but you also look how this team is built, and they're just not built to be on the boards. So you kind of give and take with the style that we play, and you just hope the offense is rolling.
Now, right now, Villanova is the number 1 ranked team in NCAA basketball. Do you guys think that they're the clear number 1? Do you guys think that there's a team out there that's better? Who do you think is the best team out right now?
Definitely not a clear number 1. It's so hard to tell who is, especially this early. A lot of teams are still finding identity. Conference play is always another obstacle that you have to hurdle constantly.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're looking at Duke, who probably will, wouldn't be surprised if they see number 1 again this season. See number 1 this season. If North Carolina gets on a big roll, they can probably see number 1 this season as well. So cut number 1, and I think we'll see a handful of teams take the spot at least once this year. So I'm not saying Villanova's a bad team. I just don't think they're a clear number 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Basically, any of the teams I would understand if they make, well, I'll say top 4. North Carolina, I'm not too sure about them, but I think all those have number 1 team potential. Villanova, Michigan State, Arizona State, and Duke. Any of them finishing the year as that number going, and they all are pretty balanced, play good all-around games. But to say one of them is clearly the best team in the nation, no, it's too early for that.
Yeah. All right, now just who are some players that you guys felt that really came out this year and just balled out so far that may have not been on your guys' radar yet, or what? Like, you guys got any players?
Trae Young for sure.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned him earlier, he wasn't really on my radar. Dude's averaging over 20 points and I think over like 16 assists or something like that. It may not be that high, but I know he's leading Division I in points and assists right now. Like,
he's leading both in both.
Yeah, that's
wow,
that's impressive. I can't really think of a time I've seen a player points record over 20 assists. Game. To be able to have that much offensive capable. So he would be the one for me.
I would agree with that pretty much. If I were to pull somebody else out, I guess it'd still be kind of homerific from me, but Jaren Jackson, I do think he's kind of gone beyond what was expected from him coming in as a freshman. I know he's a big body, so like the block shots aren't super, but just how athletic he is, his shooting range he already has as a freshman, college threes, not NBA threes, but he has that kind of range, and he's just been able to do a lot more around the basket than an 18-year-old coming into a Tom Izzo system.
Yeah, Trae Young, man, 28.5 and 10.2 assists per game. So
I knew it wasn't 16. It feels like 16.
Your dumb ass don't know what you're talking about, man. But
probably the first time you've ever Googled it.
Oh man,
true statement.
All right, y'all. Any other comments on NCAA basketball before we close this out with some NBA?
Oh.
All right. Okay, just thoughts on this NBA season.
Pretty exciting, I think. It's kind of tough in the NBA. You know, every year we go in saying there are probably 5 teams that actually have a shot. So you kind of just wait for everything to kind of find its way through the weeds, and in the end, we tend to see the same 4 or 5 teams. So it kind of makes it very anticlimactic, but I definitely think that, you know, a couple surprising things going on at least. You know, the Celtics do Gordon Hayward, I think, is a lot of people I know this for me. It's kind of taking the horns and leading fun to watch. I actually really like that Houston team. I think we've all kind of liked them for the last few years.
Yeah, they shocked me this year. We'll get more into them in a little bit, but yeah, that's a team that kind of shocked me so far.
Yeah, I think the hometown Pistons. They're recently coming off, I think, a 4 or 5 game slide, but 3 or 4 straight after that. And they're playing well and to shape up fairly well in the East. And Cleveland answered a slow start. I mean, we get a lot of what we expect. We got some of what we don't. It's not typical, which is good. You know, we're not seeing, it's Golden State with 2 losses through 27 games and in the East, so we'll get this finals again. You know, so I don't think that's the conversation anybody's having right now. And for that, I think, you know, it's a win so far for the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a season where the talent gap has closed some, which is big for the league. It's been fun seeing the Cleveland Golden State show, but I think everybody likes a little bit of parody.
Time to switch it up.
Yeah. I mean, I do still think that's probably our final. Be crazy about it, but at least there's some doubt so far, at least in the season.
Yeah.
We've had a couple teams jump up that bad, like Ty alluded to Detroit. They probably had a surprise of the year. Indiana, everybody thought would be terrible. Mm-hmm. They're like a good team. And then you have on the other side, like you have Oklahoma City, who built a big 3, but haven't quite figured out how to make it work. And you still have the project in New Orleans with Davis and Boogie Cousins not
possible
to be.
Yeah, I was reading a possible trade. I think Boston was looking into getting Anthony Davis. So
yeah,
have to see how that works.
But that doesn't sound too realistic for me. Just
True, yeah.
New Orleans has AD under contract for another 2 years. If they were looking for Boogie, who I think this is the last year of his contract, that makes a little more sense to me. But not just.
Those guys just got so much potential, man. Like, dude, if you got Boogie and AD on your team, man, it's like, man, those guys are just amazing to try to break that up, man. They got to just find a way to get those guys to just be cohesive together. But, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like a team that should work with top 10 big men on your team, yet they click.
Yeah. Anything else to say, man? Or
no?
Okay. Since y'all ain't gonna mention it, man, it's a must that I got to do it. But shout out to my man Kobe for getting them jerseys hung up the other day. Since y'all don't know how to appreciate greatness, so that's first and foremost. Second, man, I just want to say, man, it's good to have Kawhi Leonard back on the Spurs. That guy's just too talented to just be sitting out like that. But very surprised at just how long he was sitting out. I thought he would have been back in a shorter time. But, Pop, he takes his time with his players. And it's just good to see him back on that court. Hopefully, doesn't have any setbacks because those hamstrings can be tough to come back from and get back in the groove. So it's good to see Kawhi back. And just also, man, I'm really starting to just appreciate LeBron James more. I'm not really before I wasn't really a huge LeBron James fan, but just watching how he's working with these Cavaliers teams just through the injuries and whatnot. Just watching this guy just out there just balling hard, man, and just doing his thing. So he's just been a joy to watch when I've been catching him on his games and stuff. He's just out there always giving it 100% and just working hard. So you always, man, whenever you just have someone that's going to go down as one of the GOATs, you just really just have to watch him and just appreciate him because we don't know when the next time we're going to see another LeBron or may not never see another LeBron again. So it's just, I've been watching them this year, and it's just been an absolute pleasure to watch. But, yeah, those are my key things. Now, up next.
Outside of the Kobe slappyism, that was pretty good.
You said what?
I said outside of the slappiness for Kobe, those good thoughts.
Yeah, I had to give a shout out to the Black Mamba. So, but let's talk about OKC, man. I think the last time I checked, they were at the number 8 spot, but they were 15-15 the last time I checked. I had to look at their record real quick. But guys, just what are your thoughts on this team? You think they would be better so far at this point, or you still think they would have had time to click more? Well, yeah, they're 15-15 right now. They're at the number 7 spot. But just, yeah, what are your thoughts on this OKC Thunder team? You thought they would be better by now or what?
Well, for sure, yeah, definitely thought they would be better. You have 3 players of that caliber. I didn't think 500 team when I look at them, but they just can't seem to figure out how to play together, like lead or what style they should play. To be what they would demand on their previous teams or last year in OKC as far as Russ goes, but it gel. They seem like a team where the questions people had about KD going into Golden State, enough shots to go around,
that's a good
or what
point.
to do. Yeah. This is happening with this squad because you have 3 primary scorers all just trying to figure out, and it seems to be a lot of, okay, it's your turn to go score, and we'll just stand around and do nothing. Like their offense is just, you don't have an offense. It's just you 3 take turns figuring it out. And I guess if you get doubled or tripled, drop it off to the other two and see if they can pick up the breadcrumbs. But figure out something, or figure out if they need to trade Melo or Paul George or something to see if they can get more pieces to allow more of the offense. But something has to be figured out. Down, which is hard to believe. He's not shooting as well. His production is down as far as that goes. He's well from anywhere. He's still scoring, but it's taken a lot more for it to happen. And and Melo's not getting younger, so if I don't know if he would want to swallow a pill like that. It'd be good to do what D Wade did with Cleveland and, opt to come off the bench as a sixth man or lead that second unit, give them that scoring punch, and they need to try something. Putting them all three on the court, it's not working.
Yeah, I don't know if Melo would be able to do that, man, but hey, he's throwing it out.
Yeah, I definitely think that they can turn it around. Like, I think Darnell hit the point square on. Is the fact you have three primary ball scorers, which have really defense, and you're putting all. Well, okay, yeah. I mean, I think people will be like, "Oh man, he's a top." I mean, he's not bad, but I guess to me, it's just the point that you have three guys that over 20-something points, but I don't know, you just can't have three guys doing that at one time. It just doesn't work like that. I think where a lot of the stuff goes wrong, I mean, a lot of these guys play, 2K and all that. They're all like, oh, let's see what happens when we put all these, stud players on one team. And LeBron said when, Isaiah Thomas comes back, he's been playing on 2K with all the lineup combinations. It's like, yeah, it can work on a video game, and yeah, it can work at the Olympics because we're just that much better than everybody else in basketball. Hey, I don't know. I think it's just proving that you can't have overload. Have, too many options. What Golden State has is unbelievable. And I think this is proving that. How they're able to do it, this staff with Draymond, who took, a little bit of a hit with KD coming in. Even Klay Thompson taking a little bit of a hit. It's phenomenal. For nobody else to be able to do it, believable. You know what I mean? Like, you would think that somebody else would be able to figure it out, but nobody else has.
All right. Now about to just switch over to the Rockets. They currently have the best record in the league right now. Y'all think they're the best team in the NBA? Or you just think they just got a good little streak going on right now? How do y'all feel about this Rockets team?
Yeah. Go as far as to call them best team in the NBA yet.
All right.
On the watch, they're doing well, but I mean, there's no rings behind them to put anything like that on. And Golden State is still there.
All right.
Cleveland's still there. The Spurs are still there. If they run through all of them and end up with the O'Brien this year, best team. But yeah, I can't go there yet. Because I mean, at one point Boston was on a ridiculous winning streak and was looking like a world beater even without Hayward.
Yeah,
anybody calling them the best team.
Yeah. Perfect point. How many years in a row? 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
until we see Houston making it to the finals, until we see Houston winning the finals, you can call them the best anything.
Yeah.
I think we all can agree they're really good, playing really good basketball.
Yeah.
But we just need to see something bigger than a good regular season.
Yeah. But yeah, I was pretty surprised with this team, man. Houston, when that trade first went down, sending Chris Paul to the Rockets, I was kind of wary of it because you got to have a lot of people out there hyping this team up, talking about how good their backcourt was going to be and whatnot. But I was like, they already have had one of the greatest backcourts in the league with when Patrick Beverley was there, and I forgot I think they had another guy too that they got rid of, but but yeah, when Patrick Beverley was there, they were already had one of the best backcourts out there you can ask of. So just when they brought Chris Paul there, I was really just wondering, okay, how much better is this team going to get? And Chris Paul had a little leg injury. James Harden was out there to manage and have his team perform pretty well. Then Chris Paul came back, and they were starting to click. I was just wondering, with these two guys, with their demand for the ball, how would that work out? But they've been working out pretty good so far. They just been playing well. So it caught my eyes, man. I was surprised it was going to work as well as it's been doing so far. But got to give credit to Mike D, man. That guy knows how to put together an offense for sure. So offense is very efficient. They're going to go out there and get their points. Just going to have to see how that defense is going to do when they go compete against these Spurs or the Golden State Warriors and whatnot. So they're definitely a fun basketball team to watch, but definitely want to see how they're going to keep going moving forward. Now, let me ask you guys this. With Chris Paul and James Harden, y'all think they're the best backcourt in the NBA?
Very good. Still lean towards Steph and Clay.
Okay.
Yeah. I would lean towards Steph and Clay because they're the two consistently doing it, making it work, making it. I don't think that 3 straight finals is really something you can compare to. Now, numbers.
All right. I can respect that. All right. To close us out, it's a must that we talk about the Detroit Pistons.
Real quick, Trey. Can I ask you guys one quick NBA question?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is Kyle Kuzma flying too far under the radar?
Yes.
38 tonight. He should. Do you think he should be being talked about for Rookie of the Year?
He should be in the conversation, but I mean,
and I'm not saying the favorite. I'm just saying, should he be in the conversation? Because I don't see him in it, and I'm a little confused.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree, but I mean, he's on a team with Lonzo Ball, and even though he's up and down, that's all everybody is looking at. And then you have Ben Simmons, who's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at Kuzma as a top 5 rookie.
Yeah. Honestly, I like, and I'm a Laker guy, so honestly, I like Kuzma better than I do Ball. That guy's just absolutely ridiculous. One thing that I'm disappointed in with oh my goodness. Luke Walton, the Lakers coach, Luke Walton I don't think he's honestly been giving those guys, been giving him enough playing time because he's been, having Lopez and Nance, start. And then, you had Kuzma, coming off the bench. I didn't like the minutes that he was giving Kuzma. I think he needs to let that guy get loose more and go out there and just do his thing because that guy can flat out just ball, man. So, yeah, that guy's a freaking monster, dude. So I do. I want to see Luke Walton let that guy get loose more because I think he's holding him back a little bit coming off the bench. I'm a huge fan of Larry Nance. Kind of disappointed in Brook Lopez a little bit so far this year. But yeah, I think Luke Walton needs to let that guy go out there and just ball out more, give him some more minutes. Especially this team, nobody really has high expectations for the Lakers this season. Let's just be honest. I know Lavar said what he said. He expect them to get 50 wins or whatever, but let's just be honest, man. This is the time where Luke Walton needs to just let those guys Ball and Kuzma go out there and just ball out, man, and get some more chemistry together. Because Kuzma, that guy's a monster. I don't think that guy's just getting enough playing time as it is. But yeah, he balled out tonight. So, anything to add to that on Kuzma?
No.
Okay.
I just want to know what you guys thought.
Yeah. So, yeah, Luke, play Kyle Kuzma more, man. That guy's a monster. Yeah. But to close this out, it's a must. We got to talk about them Detroit Pistons. Just thoughts on them so far this year, guys.
A lot good to talk about it or not.
Yeah.
Rough night tonight. Not doing so well against the Mavericks, but those nights happen. There's not a whole lot you can do, but I think things that I've been throwing around to a few of my friends is the idea that what if this team traded Reggie Jackson? Would we be seeing what we're seeing right now? A lot of Detroit wanted him gone. They didn't like his chemistry with the team. It appeared, and the way it appeared, and just thought we need to get rid of him. He's an issue, but he's playing well. He's got that team rolling at the point guard position. Drummond's kind of the, no pun intended, but he's the drum beat. He as he goes, the team goes. Tobias Harris, can't say enough about him. I really like the way he plays. I wanted the Pistons to get him a couple of years ago. The only thing about the Pistons right now that, at least, I don't necessarily want to say it worries me, because we're still not exactly close to we're approaching the All-Star break, but we're not like a week away. I still wonder how the Pistons are going to do with depth at the big man position. Once Drummond gets off the floor, they can either go to Moreland, and Boban Marjanovic, or whatever his name is. He's hit or miss all the time, and they only play him like once every games, it appears. So I worry about this team's depth. I feel like they get to the bench and it's a bunch of 3-pointers or nothing. But it's almost like they lose a lot of once they hit the bench. Stanley Johnson, they need to move from him. I think if they traded him, I don't know what you'd be able to get for him. That's the problem. I don't think his value is very high. But one I kind of wish would either step up or step out. I like this team. I really do. I like the direction they're going. I really hope they can keep it up. Really need to avoid those 4-game losing streaks. Those hurt.
Yeah, to add to that, they've, like I said earlier, they've been a big surprise. Personally, I didn't expect them to be doing as well as they've been, as high as second in the East. That's crazy to expect for a team that everybody was saying blow it up last year, and wasn't the biggest fan of their draft this year. But Stan seems to have gotten the buy-in, even with talking about, who seemed to be a problem child last year, and Drummond, who seemed to kind of not care about playing. He didn't look like he would ever learn how to shoot free throws, but there's been lots of improvement with this team, and the only thing I feel bad for them, they're doing this well, but on TV, they're still doing it in front of a quarter full arena.
Yeah, man, it's horrible just to see, them be on TV, man, just to see all those empty seats. But you kind of did bring up a good point, man, with them making that move to Detroit. It pissed off a lot of people in the Palace area, so they, could still be salty about buying tickets to go to that go to Little Caesars when they could have just went to the Palace. So, but it's ridiculous, man, because this Pistons team is having a hell of a year and ain't bringing in the people to watch them.
Yeah, they're as good as they've been in years. To that point, I mean, even when they were bad, the Palace was still mostly full. They weren't selling out, but the crowds for the bad Pistons team last year make the crowds for this good Piston team look. And there's only so long you can get away with saying that everybody's out in the concourse looking at the new arena.
Yeah.
You have a team that good, people are going to sit. So they have to figure something out.
Yeah. All right, guys. Any other thoughts or anything to say before we get to the pick'ems?
Nope.
All right, this is Do or Die. I got this week's games and next week's games on here, but it's pretty close. Ty's stinking it up. He's 36 for 75. I'm in second place with 38 for 75, and Darnell is in first with 40 for 75. So
rough year in reality, rough year for all of us again.
Yeah. Sure. And just two.
all I'm shooting for.
Yeah. Just two for our NCAA college football picks for the bowl games. We're all tied right now. So in that one. So we're at the same percentage. So just have to see, man. Got some good games coming up. So we'll see how it's going to turn out in the coming weeks. So the first game we're going to get into is Detroit, the Lions versus Cincinnati. Who you guys got?
Yeah, give me the Lions.
Yeah, I'm going with Detroit here too. Since he just gave news that their coach isn't finishing out the year, I don't think they're going to shore up to try to make him look good going out. I think they probably are mailing it in.
And Detroit's fighting for a playoff spot, so
that is true as well.
I'm going to go with Detroit as well. Up next, we had the Rams versus Tennessee. Give me the Rams.
L.A.
All right, what you got, Ty?
I said the Rams.
Oh, you said the Rams? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we got Atlanta versus New Orleans.
Saints coming for revenge. And,
all right.
our Ingram train is ridiculous.
Yeah. Matt Ryan on a he had the year prior, so give me the Saints.
All right. Give me Atlanta.
Calling for the sweep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Up next, we got the Jets versus the Chargers.
Chargers.
I'm going San Diego.
LA.
Oh yeah, LA. Oh yeah. It's still hard. It's still hard to say that. Yeah.
All right, you got the Rams right.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
This would put me at a tie with Darnell, but I think I'm going to go with the Chargers as well. So, all right. Up next, we have Jacksonville versus San Fran. Give me Jags.
Be good, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, I'm going to take Jacksonville as well, even though it will be.
You still there, Ty? All right. Up next, we have Dallas versus Seattle.
Well, Seattle has no defense and they have no offensive line. Dallas better be able to beat them. I'm picking Dallas.
All right.
Yeah, Zeke Elliott's coming back. Give me Dallas.
Give me Seattle. All right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Up next, we have to finish out week 16 is Arizona versus the New York Giants. Game of the week.
The battle of futility game of the week.
Give me the Giants.
Okay. I'm still on the same way. They're playing for pride now. They can't make the playoffs. Just they're still salty from Eli game.
They're just playing not to suck.
Yeah.
All right, give me Arizona. Now for week 17, to close this out, we have Baltimore versus Cincinnati.
Ravens.
All right. All three got the Ravens.
All right.
Atlanta versus Carolina.
Carolina.
Yeah, there's that one as well.
All right, give me Atlanta. I'm about to blow y'all out these last couple of weeks. So. All right.
Or blow up your picks.
All right. Dallas versus Philly.
I'm going to go Dallas again there.
Right.
They get out. And they won't be playing anybody because they have a playoff spot locked up.
Yeah.
Give me Philly. You said Dallas, Ty?
Yep.
Okay. Buffalo versus Miami. I think I'm going to roll with Miami on this one. Who y'all got?
I said the Bills.
Oh, the Bills. And Ty, you got the Bills too?
I don't know. Give me Miami.
Going with the fighting Cutlers?
Yeah.
And to close this out, close this out. Green Bay versus Detroit.
No Aaron Rodgers. Give me Detroit.
We all three gonna go with the D.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Okay, that's about to wrap this up, guys. Just any final statements before we get ready to close this out?
Since it won't be on this coming week, I'll say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yes. You got anything, Darnell?
Likewise. No. Happy holidays to everybody, whatever you celebrate.
Yeah. Same here, man. I just got to give again another special shout out to Umar Johnson for doing that interview last week. He came in there, man. I know he was going to bring it, but he came in there just swinging. Know he had pissed a lot of people off just by looking at some of the comments. But if you didn't check it out, man, I would highly recommend you listen to it. We talked about a lot, man, just in terms of politics and race. If you can just keep a level head, not get offended, anything like that, just realize it's just an interview. I think you'll be good. It was just a good discussion. Guy just came in there and just brought some heat. So it was just fun talking to the guy, just getting to see some of his views on some of the questions that I have him. So huge shout out to him for doing that interview, man. But other than that, y'all have a happy holiday. We'll catch y'all in about 2 weeks. Have a good one. And as always, just know that you can check this podcast out on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, SoundCloud. Just search in Don't Kill the Messengers podcast. Also, hit us up on Twitter at DKM_cast. And we'll catch y'all on the next episode. Peace.